Then Mr. Jonathan Raj, MLU Services India. Dr. Sharma, yeah, most welcome to you too. And she is the Vice President, Corporate Segment, CM, the Corporation, the Consortium. Mr. Chetan, the GST Superintendent from GST Seva Kendra, is he here? Anyway, in absentia, I welcome him. Mr. Babu, Business Head of VedaSoft, yes, he is here. Most welcome to you, sir. Mr. Anil, State Coordinator of Gramin Digital Saksharata Abhiyan. By any chance, are you here? Anyway, welcome. Mr. Neil Kantan, Product Evangelist, Hubler. Anyway, these are the Galaxy, maybe additional Galaxy who will be sharing their perspectives with you today. And thanks to Mr. Santosh, our partner from the consortium who could make all this happen. Can we have him? Where is Mr. Santosh? I think he is still on the job outside. Yeah, great. I would be welcoming him very heartily to our institution. Nevertheless, it is the entrepreneurs, student entrepreneurs and students themselves. You are at the center stage of this particular event. A warm welcome to you two people, right, to this institution, and a warm welcome to my faculty members and students, staff, and also invitees and press to this institution. Thank you very much for coming here. And after this brief introduction or brief welcome, I would like to share a few things which have always been at the top priority of my thinking. And of course, that would be top priority to you too once you listen to them. In fact, I would rather start my deliberations with an issue that keeps touching me or haunting me again and again. You all agree with me that education institutions which supply human resource to your companies is a very important part of the ecosystem. Do you agree or not? You certainly agree. And where is this human resource coming from? In India, we see three tiers of education institutions. IITs called Tier 1, NITs and centrally funded institutions, Tier 2, and largely the university-affiliated institutions, Tier 3 institutions. In fact, the first two tiers hardly contribute to any significant manpower in the country. Maybe about 5 to 6% of the human resources contributed by those two categories. But about 94 to 95% of the manpower is supplied by university-affiliated institutions. That means the manpower that you have today and you are likely to have tomorrow is all likely to be from the university-affiliated institutes. That means it is high time for you to think and see what is really happening in those institutes, because they actually constitute the technical competencies of your institution or your industries in the days to come. I have a few figures with me which are very, very shocking to you and me too. In fact, CII as well as the AICTE, All India Council for Technical Education, they conduct annual surveys of education institutions in the country, engineering colleges in the country. Very recent survey, in fact, they actually assess the strength of the education institutions' linkages with the industry in terms of the industry's participation in governance, in terms of teaching, in terms of infrastructure, R&D, and placement, and so on. And they rate the institutions on a scale of 100. Very recent survey, I would like to share with you the outcomes of that survey findings. It says that the scores the institutions have scored in a sample of about 1,000 institutions they surveyed, the scores of those institutions ranged from 4 to 75 with an average of 17 marks. That means on a scale of 100, the strength of the relationship between the industry and the institute is only 17, even in that particular sample. 90% of the institutions failed to score even the passing marks of 35. About 36% of the institutions did not send any of their students to industry internship. 76% of them did not send the students to even one industrial visit. 98% of them did not have even one sponsored research or consultancy from industry. What is it that I am talking about then? Now, this portrays the very pathetic situation of education institutions. But I am sure Had you conducted a similar survey with the industrial units, the situations would not have been different. It is the same again. How well these industrial units are connected to education institutions? Hardly much. Now, this, if the leaders like you and the education institutions don't take cognizance of this kind of a serious divide between the education institutions and the industry, both of us are heading for a disaster in the days to come, because this is the human resource that we are going to get in the next decades. It's high time that we should address this kind of a divide. And I would tell you that, in our institution, we are quite proactive. We have initiated several new measures to make our students industry oriented and to become industry ready to the extent possible. You all know that we work under the university regulations and we have so many constraints, but in spite of that, nothing has stopped us from doing so many new programs in the institute so as to make the students very confident of getting into the industry over there. A few things I would like to share with you. In fact, we have what is called as board of governors, like in your institute, in your organization's board of directors, we have board of governors, which is the apex body that sets the direction for the industry, for the institute. I'm happy to tell you that we have a wonderful industry representation on that board itself. We have the chairman and managing director of Bharat Electronics Limited and the former chairman and managing director of Ingersoll Rand Limited to be on the board, who actually see through that the institute doesn't derail from its industry orientation all the time. Beyond that, every department in the institute has got department advisory board, and together we have around 8 boards with 33 eminent personalities guiding the day-to-day activities of the departments. Of that 33, about 12 people are senior industry practitioners, 10 are from senior research scientists from national laboratories, and the remaining are professors from IIT and IISc and IIIT and so on. This is what we are trying to do, to get the mentorship from that kind of people. And they help us identifying where we need to actually strengthen. And in fact, I'm so happy to tell you that this institute doesn't take university standard to be the standard to be attained. We consider it to be the minimum standard to be attained, and nothing stops us from doing much more than that. We conduct so many value-added programs in the institute, like maybe industry internships for students. In fact, in the last 1.5 years, more than 1,000 students have undergone industry internship in more than 360 companies. We have done that. And industrial visits, industry-based courses are being offered. In fact, many practitioners come and teach a part of the course here. We call it as partial delivery of the course. We do that. Invited talks from various specialists, research laboratories we keep organizing, and open elective courses in the areas where the employment can be enhanced. These are the things that we are doing. In fact, there are only a few that I am naming actually. Lots of activities to add value and improve employability of the students is going on. And in fact, we are helping them to self-learn. In fact, there is various methods of learning: self-learning, experiential learning, observational learning, case study-based learning, what-if kind of learning. We are trying to help them to think in all these directions and try to actually strengthen their own capacities and capabilities to address the realities of the world over there. And one very important and a flagship program that we have in our institute, maybe you have heard of students undergoing industry internship anywhere. We do it here, but more than that, 100% of my faculty members also undergo industry internship here. This is one of the biggest, and it has been happening for the last 3 years. Every year, regularly, every teacher undergoes industry internship for a minimum of 10 days continuously. But that is a short period, I know, but still we want to expand. That's the limitation from the university there. They are undergoing that. This has helped us to actually, the faculty members to know the difficulties of the companies and try to provide some solutions wherever they are good at, and also ascertain what they can do for the industry. They come back with some kind of consultancy assignments also there. That has helped us in that way. We are able to solve some of the problems for the industry there. And we have incubation center, we have the the Innovation Center and Entrepreneurship Development Cells, which help the students to understand and experience the transformation from the idea to the business venture. Like these are some of the things that we are doing. Of course, the professional training activity starts right from the first year itself. It's not just one-time effort. All the 4 years, students undergo professional training, both in aptitude, quants, reasoning, and everything there, apart from the domain level training. I'm so happy to tell you, the trainers are chosen by students and not by the faculty members. We will allow them to take demo of the vendors. They come and present this. Students will decide who should actually train them. We get continuous feedback about that kind of a feedback from the performance of the trainers. If necessary, we make modifications or fine-tune those programs. In fact, these things just cannot happen like that, simply because, don't think that we have the luxury of time, resources, everything. We are also constrained like you. We have so many constraints from the government, regulatory bodies, universities, and so on. In spite of that, we are striving hard to take that extra mile, which can add big advantage to our students. And I'm so happy to tell you that this kind of an extra mile has given us wonderful mileage in terms of highly paid internship to our students. Some of our students have got internship at a stipend of 80,000 rupees per month. They have done that. We have got wonderful placement for the students. As much as about 85% of our eligible students get placed in a salary range of about 4 lakhs to 24 lakhs per annum. That is happening. And more than 125 of my students have got into the world top ranked institutes for higher studies. And currently we have more than 15 student entrepreneurs who are here studying but doing their businesses. This is what is happening as an outcome of all these efforts. But that's not the end, that's only the beginning there. And no wonder I should and I must share with you that BMS IT has been recognized by the National Institutional Ranking Framework of MHRD among the top 100 engineering education institutions in the country as a whole. And probably this requires a bigger applause too. And the National Board of Accreditation, this second credential is National Board of Accreditation, actually accredited 5 engineering programs in one go with respect to the quality education here. And as a cherry on the ice cream, the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, MHRD, it awarded A grade to this institution there. And more than anything, all these 3 happened in last 1 year itself. Thank you very much.